All right, good morning, guys. Morning.
Morning.
Today's a fun day. I got to come to work here with my son Oliver.
Hi.
So we've had a chance to fly together a couple times here and there, just on a ferry flight or something. You've had your hands and feet on the controls a couple times, but overall, I think this is the first time we're going to be in the Cabri together, especially doing what we're going to try and do today, right? Yeah. So we had an opportunity today. We have a Cabri that's going to be coming in for inspection, and we had to get the engine warmed up so we can drop the oil and do all that stuff. And so I figured, what better way to warm up the engine than to go out with my son for a short flight? So we're going to hop over to the infield and spend just a few minutes getting hands and feet on the controls and see how we get on with hovering. As you've all probably seen on some videos before, hovering is one of the hardest things to start with anyways. So no expectations today. We'll see what we get done, how far we get in the time we have. So that'll be fun. So anyways, I'm going to spend just a couple minutes here with Oliver, just demonstrating and talking through the different controls so you have a bit of a sense of what does what and why the different controls are used. So we'll start with the simplest one, the pedals. So go ahead and put your feet on the pedals. And if you go ahead and push full right pedal there, the full range to the stop, and then full left pedal. There we go. So any idea why we have pedals?
To rotate the helicopter.
Okay, sounds good. So to rotate it left and right in the hover. That's one good reason. Another good reason is we have a main rotor up there, right? And so every time we do this, every time we raise the collective, you can see the pitch is changing up there. And every time the pitch changes, the drag will change on the blades. That will create torque opposite direction from the rotation of the helicopter. So every time we raise collective, because the rotor is turning to the right, the torque is going to turn the helicopter to the left in the hover. Does that make sense?
Yeah, see, then you have to auto-correct it to get it back to like a normal position.
That's correct, yeah. So if the nose was turning to the left, which pedal do you think you'd push?
The left.
So the left pedal will make the nose go to the left.
Okay, so that right goes right, left goes left. Okay.
Okay, so if the nose is out going to the left because we're raising collective, which pedal will we push?
The right.
The right, exactly. So it's important to, in your mind, recognize that every time you raise that collective, you have to put some right pedal in to compensate. And then when you lower collective, you're going to put some left pedal in, right?
Okay.
So that means in the hover, because we will be using the collective to modulate our height in the hover, we'll also be modulating our pedals. Okay? So pedals straight and forward in the hover. Right pedal will make the nose go to the right. Left pedal will make the nose go to the left. All right?
Okay.
That's the simplest control in the helicopter. The next one that's also pretty straightforward is going to be our collective. So go ahead and put your left hand on the collective. And you can hold it right here on the silver part. That's good. So when we raise the collective, what do you think the helicopter is going to do?
Go up.
It's going to go up, exactly. And when we lower the collective, the helicopter is going to go down. So in the hover, that's the basics of how it works. In flight, there's a bit of a difference there, but we'll talk about hover for now. So think of that as your up-down lever. And then as we raise that, we're going to do this. And as we lower it, we're going to do that. All right? So that's the two controls that are pretty linear, up, down, left, right. Now the one that's going to be obviously most complex and most difficult for most people at the beginning is going to be your cyclic. So you can see when we do this, our freedom of controls, the cyclic moves in all directions. Okay, so it's not limited to just forward and back, and it's also not limited to just left and right. It goes in every direction. So because of that, our helicopter also will move in all directions. So the cyclic is essentially tilting our disc in whatever way we're pushing the cyclic. So if we push it to the front, the disc is going to tilt forward. When we pull it back, the disc is going to tilt to the back. And then we level it out, and then to the right, and to the left. Okay? And then also, of course, if I go forward to the right, it's going to tip the disc that direction. We would essentially fly that direction. So the key with the cyclic if we're trying to keep ourselves in a hover is two things. One, we need to find the center point with the cyclic, the center point being the balance point where the helicopter wants to stay in one spot. Okay, so we're always in the hover, we're always searching for that balance point. So that's why when we're hovering, our hand is constantly making small corrections, because we're always trying to find that balance point. That balance point is going to be when we're looking outside. We want to use our peripheral vision to see our instrument panel, see the fuselage, the nose position relative to the horizon. So all these things are going to give us little cues as to whether the helicopter is tipping nose up or pitching nose down or tipping left or tipping right. Okay. And so as we watch that, we don't want to focus on anything in particular here. We want to focus outside, but we want to see in our peripheral, is the helicopter tipping to the left? And if it is, we just do a small correction to the right and then come back and try and find that center point again. Then if it's starting to tip nose up, we push a little bit forward, cyclic, and then come back a little bit, try and find that center point. We're always trying to level the helicopter again. Okay? That's the short and dirty of it. And then we'll go out and see what it actually feels like when we're hovering. All right, makes sense?
Yep, sounds good.
All right. So we're going to jump on the checklist here and get ourselves started. So harnesses are fastened, pedals we've checked already, full travel. Cyclic we've done the same, and collective we've done as well. All right, so we just double check that our breakers are all in, which they are. Fuel shutoff valve is on, down here, in the on position. Good. Cabin heat is closed for now. All right, all switches except carburetor heat should be off. So we've turned our master on already. Our screen is loaded up. The rest of the switches are off. Carb heat is auto. All right, master switch on, which we've done already. NR switch, we're going to go to backup. Check to make sure the green light is on. All right. No alarms except we have oil temperature, oil pressure, and fuel pressure. Because our oil temperature is cold, we have no fuel pressure because the engine's not running, and the oil pressure also. All right, fuel quantity check, we have 44 liters, so that's plenty for the time that we're going to use. Governor off is off, and the governor light is on, or the governor off light is on. That's the little switch up here. So once we start the helicopter, we'll switch that on later. The light will go off, and then it'll modulate the RPMs in the middle of the green arc. All right, mixture forward, full rich, so you can go ahead and put the mixture forward all the way. Good. Rotor brake, we can check that. So if you push this tab over with your thumb and then pull back on the rotor brake, you'll see the light comes on. Good. And then you can push it forward again. All right, headset and radio is already on. We got that. You can go strobe on. Fuel pump on. Good. And then it says manual fuel injections as required. So because the engine is cold, we haven't run it before. What we're going to do, go ahead and put your hand on the collective and on the throttle as well. We're going to raise collective and roll on throttle to 100%. We're going to roll it back down. Do that again. Down. Do it 3 times. And what we're doing right now is we're injecting a little bit of fuel into the intake manifold so that the engine will start a little bit easier. All right, then we'll stop it at 3%. Now you can go ahead and turn your magneto and your plasma switches on. Both go up. The 2 switches there, yeah, perfect. Hear that beep, that's the plasma. Area clear, check left, check your side. Make sure it's all clear, good. All right, and then you can hit the starter button. It's on the left side there. Press it and hold it for about a second until you hear it fire, and then let go. On the left side. There's a button that you push. Good. Let go. Awesome. Now alternator on, clutch on, nav lights on, landing lights on, and close the clutch guard. Good. Excellent. All right. So we're going to go ahead and call ground, information hotel. Do you want to try a radio call? You can practice it. We can try it. No?
Not yet.
All right.
I have no idea how to do it at all.
Fair enough. All right. Hampshire ground, good day. Helicopter coverage, G2, Golf Uniform Echo Tango with information hotel.
Takeoff to Franco Tango, after scan.
Hey, good day. Franco Tango PC helicopter is looking for the infield today.
You are Franco Tango ground, wind 1604, altimeter 3045, squawk 7173, contact tower 1194, when ready.
Squawk 7173 for Uniform Echo Tango. Alright, so we can switch it over to tower now. Excellent. Alright, so our oil temperature is at least 30 degrees, which it is above that, so we can go ahead and set our RPM to 530. Carb heat hot. Should some carb heat manual there. The RPM should decrease. Temperature should increase. Waiting for a yellow brick to show up. There it is. Auto. Roll. Manual carb heat. RPM should increase. Temperature should decrease. Which it is, and the brick should disappear. There it is. There, we're gonna split those needles. Good split. Park terrain. Excellent. This away.
This is Takeoff Michael Foxtrot, scan.
Michael Foxtrot, this is a run of air. Requesting taxi for local flight today.
Alright. Ready?
Hotel.
Michael Foxtrot, runway 19, wind 1605, altimeter 3045.
So we'll roll up,
contact tower
and then
1194,
we'll,
squawk 7176.
we'll do our
And
last
landing on
takeoff
parking.
checks. And then I'm going to get you to call tower.
Runway 19 RPM.
We'll just wait for them to stop talking.
Via Alpha
do I
departure
say?
Arnold, squawk 7176. Michael Foxtrot.
All right, so all you're going to do is once we're ready to go, you're going to push the button and say Abbotsford Tower, helicopter Uniform Echo Tango, ready for departure.
Okay, can I try it?
Say it out loud a few times.
Hello, tower.
Abbotsford
Okay.
Tower.
Abbotsford Tower. This is Uniform Echo Tango, ready for liftoff. Takeoff.
Ready for departure.
Ready for departure.
Say it a couple more times.
Abbotsford Tower. This is Uniform Echo Tango, ready for departure.
Perfect. One more time.
Abbotsford Tower. This is Uniform Echo Tango, ready for departure.
That's all it is. Perfect. All right, we're going to go governor on. Roll it up. All right, so our final takeoff checks. Lights are all out. Rotors in the green. Fuel sufficient. Temperatures and pressures are all green except oil temperature, which needs to be above 50, so we're good there. Switches are all up. Carb heat is auto. Double check the friction is off. Good. We're on tower frequency. We have a squawk code. We're good. So say it one more time before we press the button.
Abbotsford Tower. This is Uniform Echo Tango, ready for departure.
Perfect. Now you just gotta do that with the button pressed. Go for
Now?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abbotsford Tower. This is Uniform Echo Tango, ready for departure.
Uniform Echo Tango, tower takeoff, PC helicopter, issue discretion for the infield.
Uniform Echo Tango.
Uniform Echo Tango.
Nice. First radio call. That's amazing. All right, I'm all clear left. You're clear to the right?
Yep.
Good. So let's fly here together. Get your feet on the pedals. So get them centered so they're not on the edge of the pedal. There you go. Perfect. Hands on the controls. We're going to start with a bit of right pedal. Little pinch of aft right cyclic there. Eyes outside. And as we come up slowly with the collective, we just want to keep the aircraft centered. Alright, hover's good. Hovering with 80% power. CFG feels good. We are cleared for departure. All clear left, all clear right.
just a little close to the ground.
You've only really done in-flight stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, up there where we have time.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So what we're going to do is we'll break the controls into 3 separate things, all right?
Okay.
So first off, I'm just going to give you pedals. So you can keep your other hands on the controls, but I want you just to worry about pedals for now. Pick something in the distance, pick that tree or something over there at the other end of the airport. Keep your eyes on there and just focus on keeping the nose pointing in that direction, all right? So you're mostly going to need a bit of right pedal pressure and then just a balance between the 2 pedals. Nice and relaxed on those pedals, but a little more right pressure. All right, really good. Keeping it pointing in the right direction, that's fantastic.
How do you do all 3 at once?
That's the fun part. All right, I got your pedals.
Okay.
So next I want you to focus on, with your left hand, on the collective. And I want you to just focus on keeping us about this high off the ground, all right?
Okay.
So the key is going to be, we don't want to do any big movements with the collective.
Yeah.
As you can see right now, we're hovering. You can feel we're not really moving the collective much. It's tiny, tiny little pressure movements. That's all it is. The moment we start doing this, then everything else starts to go out of whack as well, right? So just focus on the smallest movement you can make to keep us about this high off the ground. All right? That's your control.
Is like the easiest one, you think?
Different people struggle with different ones between the pedals and the collective. If you can tell yourself to keep the movement small, then it's a very easy control. But some people struggle, they really move that collective way too much. And then when you combine the pedals and the collective, it tends to really mess them up. Good, so just keep doing what you're doing right now, and then start to take over on the pedals as well. I'll get you started at the beginning here, but then I want you to start taking over more and more of the pedals. Okay, pedals are all yours. A little more right pedal there. A little more right pedal. There we go. We can stop that. Good. Nice. Good job catching that. A little more pressure on the right pedal. Come back around to the south there. A little more still. Let's come back around to the wind. Very nice. A little bit more right pedal there. Power still good. Fantastic. All right, I have controls. Relax for a second. Take a deep breath.
That wasn't that bad.
That was good. That was you never lost control, so that's great.
Almost there a few times with the left turn.
All right, so next thing, or last thing we're gonna do here is a little bit of cycling work.
The hard one.
The hard one. So I want you to fly, just right hand. There you go. Let it fly with me for a second and just feel how little movement there is.
Can we go a little higher?
Yeah, we'll go a little bit higher. Do you see how it's constant small movements to keep that attitude level? So the moment we feel it tip like that, we want to bring it over and then bring it back to center. If it tips left, we go a little bit right and back to center. We're constantly seeking that level attitude. If the nose starts going up, we push it forward and then come back to center. If it starts tipping down, we come back and then back to center. So we're always going to that center point, right? Always finding that center point.
Why do you never just go straight to the center?
Because you have to compensate for what you just did and then center it again, right? So if we've gone to the right, if we just go to center, we'll just keep going to the right, which is fine if that's the goal. But if we want to stop the hover again, we need to overcompensate a little bit and then back to center. Okay? So go ahead, you have control. Just work on small movements, always moving, to keep that attitude totally level. Alright, so let's let that out again. Don't get frustrated, that's totally normal. Alright, your control again.
You got it?
There you go, forward a little bit, forward a little bit. That was good, that was like 20-30 seconds there. Getting better. Alright, your control again. Forward a little bit, forward a little bit, forward. Good. Left. Right.
It always does that.
It's always the case when you start getting more movement, then for your brain to figure out how much movement to do to compensate for that is hard. Your controls.
You can climb to 2,000 feet. You don't need to go to Rocky, just stay south of the border, eastbound towards Arnold. There's a 737
Forward,
inbound
left,
for runway 25.
Left, back.
Always is like that curve and then it goes in again.
It always does the curl, yeah.
And after Tower, Uniform Echo Tango, I'd like to take it back to BCL coverage.
Uniform Echo Tango Tower, winds 1704, take up the infill for BCL coverage.
Uniform Echo Tango, thanks.
That was pretty good. There's some really good work there. Figured out the collective and the pedals really nicely. And had some good calm moments there with the Cyclic as well. It's really impressive.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, our time is up.
The landing's always the best part.
I gotta earn your keep and help me with some maintenance.